Hi, welcome to MainStreet Macro. I'm Neela Richardson. The personal savings rate has been the unsung hero of the economic recovery. This rate is defined by the amount of income that's left over after we pay all of our taxes and we do all of our spending. Now, during the height of the pandemic, we saw the personal savings rate soar to 34%. That's the highest on record. That actually meant that people saved 34 cents of every dollar they earned. Since that time, that rate has nosedived. People are now saving 4 cents of every dollar that they've earned. And that's less than half the historical rate of about 9 cents for every dollar saved. So, is this a sign of Main Street or even the consumers' macro distress? Or is there something more behind these numbers? Well, Main Street friends and neighbors, I'm glad you asked. Here are three reasons you should care about the personal savings rate. One, savings provides a cushion in case of a possible recession. You see, this spending is so important to the economy, but savings helps bolster household spending. Remember, consumer spending is three-fourths of the economy. And over the early days of the pandemic, we actually saw household savings more than double. That gave consumers the cushion they needed to keep spending and help with the economic recovery. Now, that cushion was inflated by a lot of government federal relief going directly to households. It was also high because, let's face it, with much of the country in lockdown through a lot of 2020, there just wasn't a lot to spend money on, with a lot of businesses and companies closed. So, goodbye happy hour. Now that the economy is reopened, people are less willing to save and more likely to spend. Hello, happy hour. But now we're also dealing with inflation, and that happy hour is a lot higher than it used to be. What a high savings rate can do is really cushion the economy in the possibility that all this rate hikes that the Fed plans to do to lower inflation actually leads to a recession. So lower savings rates means better cushion for downturns. And that's why one reason you should care. The second reason, though, is because buying now on credit will be a lot more expensive in the future. You see, when you run down your savings, you're more likely to turn to things like credit cards to fund purchases now. But those credit cards are tied to the very rate the Federal Reserve plans to increase aggressively over the next several months. So as the Fed raises federal funds rates, you are bound to know it in your credit card statements as well. The third reason you should care is that savers are finally going to be in the black. You see, for a decade, people who had savings accounts made next to nothing because interest rates are so low. The good thing about the Fed hiking rates is that savers are actually going to see higher returns. And that's good news for retirees. It's good news for people on fixed incomes. And it's good news for people saving for near-term purchases. My son's college tuition next year comes to mind as one of those near-term purchases we're saving for. So with all that's going on Main Street, the personal savings rate is something we definitely want to keep our eye on. And since we're on vacation next week, we thought we'd leave you with a little silver lining, just in case you want to engage in some summer retail therapy without testing your stock up of savings. For information on goods that have actually gone down in price over the course of the pandemic, please check out our blog at adpri.org.